Hello, coaches, and welcome to the first ever virtual Raptors 905 coaching forum. We're happy that you're with us today. Thank you for joining us. It's truly an honor to have you, and we thank you for your time. Hopefully, this is an experience that you'll all will grow in your coaching careers and learn something new, but also get to share with other people as well. I think as a coach, how we communicate and how we network is a really important part of how we grow as coaches. And the second half of our session today will be all about that. We'll have breakout rooms where you can split between college or pro or high school ranks and discuss similar topics or similar concerns you may have as a coach and have some of my representatives from my staff and myself jumping in to sort of further the conversations and help you guys. I think that we all help each other is really how coaching works. So hope the second half of our session will be about that. And the first half, which you're about to watch, is sort of some good information, some great guest speakers, a real fun coaching panel that I really think you guys are going to enjoy, talking to one of my players as well and sort of understanding his thoughts on coaching, and then some real clinics and drill stuff that we filmed to show you some actual technical things you can improve and work on and learn from. So that's our session today. It's about learning, right? And I think during this pandemic, all of us have slowed down a little bit and had to figure out a new way to be on the court, a new way to learn, a new way to coach. And we've been blessed with many different workshops and resources, and hopefully this can be one for you. So we thank you very much for your time. We look forward to this session and look forward to learning together and growing together as coaches. It's truly been an honor for me to coach here in Canada, coach for Toronto, the 905, and to be part of the Raptors organization. It's been a real blessing and tremendous growth for me and my family. So thanks for being along for this short session as we go through it. Without further ado, I want to introduce our first guest. He is the president of the G League, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, former player, role model, and someone who's really driving the league and taking it really special places. And following that, our vice president, newly appointed vice president of the Raptors 905, Courtney Charles. Over to you guys.
Hello, coaches. My name is Sharif Abdul-Rahim, and I am the president of the NBA G League. Welcome to today's clinic. On behalf of the G League, I'd like to thank you for your commitment in developing today and beyond. Over the years, the G League has played an instrumental role in developing future players for the NBA. Today, you are here to help future players develop at whatever level they choose, and we are thrilled that you are here. I appreciate your work in growing basketball throughout Canada and the role that you all play in the success of Canadian players in the NBA and around the world. Enjoy today, and I hope to see you on the sidelines soon.
Good day, coaches, and welcome to the Virtual Coaches Clinic with Coach Jamma. My name is Courtney Charles, and I am the Vice President of Basketball and Franchise Operations of 905. We welcome you today, wishing we could have you in the gym, but we will practice social distancing at home. Coach Jamma's got a great lineup for you with team coaches, special guests, showing you and sharing best practices on and off the court. We thank you for all you do in the community. We wish you all the best with your teams in the future, and we hope to see you at a 905 game soon. Let's go, 905.
Thank you for that warm welcome. Really great to hear that message. And a reminder for all of us, just so we understand the scale of this clinic. So it's 2 sessions. This session you're listening to live right now will continue with a lot of different material, some player interviews, a coaching panel, which will be great to see some of my former assistants and current assistants, and then some actual on-court work that we filmed earlier that we'll show you as well with some technical sort of detail to grow you as a coach. And then following that, you should have also received a link to a live session, which we'll actually do virtually all together, where we can talk and communicate and share some ideas back and forth and actually have a real discussion. So 2 parts of the coaching clinic today. So just a reminder that that's sort of the structure that we're in. We all know it's August, but it's basketball time. In the playoffs are brewing, which is incredible for that to happen in August. And obviously our group is in Orlando. The team's doing great. Really, really proud of what they're doing in that environment. And I want to pass you on to one of my favorite coaches who I've journeyed with for many years now, Coach Patrick Mutombo, who's in the bubble. He's live in Orlando. He's been doing these games and helping these guys win. So over to you for a quick message. Thanks, Pat, for your time.
Hello, guys. My name is Patrick Mutombo. I'm an assistant coach with the Toronto Raptors. I am currently in my 4th year with the Raptors. Incredibly thankful to be part of this great organization. I'm talking to you from the bubble here in Orlando. As you know, a lot going on, but In the end, we're thankful that we have this platform to exercise our gifts and talents, but also use this as a platform to move things forward. Life in the bubble is pretty interesting. Testing daily. It took people a little while to get used to it, but as you know, human beings, athletes, we adapt, right? We adapt. It's part of our routine. Getting tested, getting your temperature, your oxygen level, and so forth, off to practice, etc. So we are getting ready for our first game against Boston in the second round of the playoffs. I think the team is prepared. Guys are ready. There's been some events, as you all know, that we've had to deal with, navigate. The way we look at it as very important issues. And I'm so proud of our guys, so proud of our leadership, our team, putting their foot forward and just marching through all this and trying to be part of the solution, but also keeping in mind that winning helps our cause, and winning helps us move things forward and gives us a more potent voice, so to speak. Guys are ready. As you know, you throw the ball up and the Toronto Raptors will always compete. Just a little exhortation for coaches. I was asked, listen, one thing for me is be a constant learner. Be a constant student. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Be humble enough to say, I don't know. Be humble enough to go seek out wisdom, to go seek out knowledge, to seek out understanding. And that way, sky's the limit. Another thing is, and it's very important, it's not about you. As a coach, it's not about you. You were put in that position to lead with a pure heart, serve. And it's amazing how by serving, it gets back to you and you're able to grow as a person, but also blossom. Okay? I just wanted to leave you with that. Hopefully these words help, and look forward to seeing you. Until then, God bless. Be well and be safe. Patrick Mutombo. Take care.
Raptors 905 delivering fast-paced basketball action for the whole family. Don't believe me?
You want to be able to see the development of the team and the development of superstars. All the top talent that made the NBA championship, the Toronto Raptors, a lot of them came from here.
We love coming with family, we love coming with friends, so we decided to become season ticket holders, and then I love the view from our courtside table here, so we decided to join up.
Again, look at the bench that's on your Raptors right now. They came from here, and it's great energy. Why not? City of Mississauga, gotta do it.
If you really want to see where the future of the Raptors is, it's right here.
My son loves basketball, so we wanted to try it out, and we saw they were coming here. So the value, the price, the overall atmosphere, the whole family fun, everything. So we became season ticket holders.
Contact us. Tickets at raptors905.com.
All right, coaches, welcome. And thank you so much again. We have a very special section right now, a chance where we get to talk to one of our players. He was a star for us last year for the Raptors 905. Matt Morgan is joining us. Matt, thanks for joining us. How's your summer going, first of all?
It's going pretty well. With the pandemic and everything, things have changed a little bit, just trying to find gym time and all that kind of stuff. But so far, so good. Been able to get some good work in so far, so hopefully keep it going throughout the summer.
All right, man. It's hard for all of us, coaches and players, to keep ourselves sharp and ready, but we all got to do it no matter what's going on. So really good to hear that. Hey, I want to dive into some coaching stuff. So we got a bunch of coaches listening. You're an incredible player, gifted athlete, and very intelligent. You understand the game and are smart enough to realize what a coach is thinking as well. So I want to take you back to high school. First, let all the coaches know where you went to high school, and then talk about one thing you really enjoyed about what your coach in high school did that helped you become the player you are today.
So I went to high school, Cox Mill High School in Concord, North Carolina. My freshman year, I played for my coach, Jody Barbie, on JV, actually. Had a really good year. We went undefeated in conference. So my sophomore year, moved up to varsity under Coach Henson, but Coach Barbie was my assistant coach. First year we won our conference, won the tournament, went to the state playoffs for the first time. And then I kind of had a decision to make after that because Coach Henson was leaving and I wasn't sure who the head coach would be, whether it be Coach Barbie, who I was with the past 2 years, or someone else they were bringing in. So kind of looked towards transferring, kind of did a lot of stuff, but ultimately Coach Barbie got the job. So I stayed and then had another great 2 years under him. Went to state playoffs, made it all the way to the Elite Eight. But high school, really enjoyed it. He made it really enjoyable just because he was a player's coach. He didn't coach really basketball, but he wanted to know how we were doing off the court. Really took care of me. I was really the first recruit that went Division One. Our school was brand new at the time. I graduated in 2015, and the school opened, I think, around 2009, 2008. So relatively young school. We did a really good job trying to put the school on a higher level, just so we can keep progressing as we have. So I think for him, what he did for me was not only coach me on the court, getting me better, but he made me better as a man and kind of preparing me for the next level going into college.
I like it. I think what I'm hearing too, and for all the coaches that are listening, and a lot of the sections we're doing, we're talking about these relationships with athletes. And there's Matt gave a great example of like, he wanted to play at the same school that his coach that he knew was going to be at, because you develop relationships with your guys. And I think that's a really important part of what being a coach is about. So that's a really good message for us. Let's switch to university because I think that's a whole other ball game in terms of maybe some technical things, but also relationship and what university looks like. So take us through your university career, your coaching experience, and maybe something you really liked and maybe something you wish the coaches had done better during university for you.
So for college for me, I went to Cornell University. Got recruited by Bill Courtney around my senior year. I committed to go there. He was my coach my freshman year. Had a really good freshman year. Started throughout the year. Did a lot of things. But the end of my freshman year, they released Coach Courtney. And again, I had that decision that I had to make whether I was going to leave to go to a different school or stay. But the school and the athletic department did a really good job of keeping me involved in the coaching process. So I actually interviewed the coaches that they were thinking about bringing in. And one of the coaches that we interviewed who ultimately got the job was Coach Brian Earl. He's still there. He was my coach for the next 3 years. We ended up hiring him because we felt that his offense was better suited for the Ivy League. He went to Princeton, was player of the year, went to the tournament. So he understood what we were going through, what we were about to go through, and what we were trying to get to, the level we were trying to get to. So I think I really enjoyed having two coaches. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but my freshman year, I learned a lot about playing on the ball, learning how to get my shot off, learning how to read a defense with the ball in my hands. And I think that really prepared me for the next step when Coach Earl got there, playing in the Princeton offense. We played through our bigs, a lot of off-ball screens, slips, coming around, stop behind, stuff like that. So I got the best of both worlds in college, learning how to play with the ball, and then ultimately the next 3 years learning how to play without the ball, backdoor cuts, stuff like that. So I think that was the one thing that I really enjoyed, was getting a taste of both styles, which I think really helps me in my progression, like I said, to get to the next level. But one thing I wish that they'd have done a little bit differently was maybe a little bit more in the player development side. We did a lot throughout the year, scouting for different teams and getting ready for the week and recovering and stuff like that. But we really didn't have as much development throughout the season that I would have liked. But I mean, players like myself, I reached out to coaches like, can I come in the gym and can we work on this or can we work on that? But ultimately, I think it would have helped our program and all the players that were on the team if, the coaches kind of took a little bit of initiative and were like, hey, we need to work on this, we need to work on that throughout the season, because preseason and off season, of course, you're going to work on those things, but during the season is also a time for you to get better. So I think going forward, they're doing a better job of it now, but I think that would have helped our team reach the level that we wanted to get to.
Man, really good. I think for all of us coaches listening, this is valuable, right? We get to hear from a player what actually works. And as coaches, we sometimes think we know the answers. We think we know exactly what we're supposed to do. But I've often said, listen to your players, talk to your players, because they know the answers more than you sometimes around just general flow and general things. So that's cool with the development stuff. Let's do one more question and let's take it to the pros. So you joined my team last year. I was your coach, so we'll ask the questions carefully. But what did you enjoy most about maybe the coaching experience and the sort of 905 experience? And then we'll ask more questions if permits.
Yeah, I think last year was definitely one of the most fun years that I had. Like I said, in college, I wanted to focus more on the player development, and that's exactly what we did with 905. We came in every day, did the weight room, and then came on the court and got our work in before we had our practice. So it was good. I had the individual development as long as learning along with the team. I think the coaches did a really good job. Coach Ryan, Coach E, Coach Kissy, Rod, you guys, everyone involved, the whole organization, in developing us on the court and off the court. I think off the court, we did a really good job in the community, helping people who might not be as privileged as we are. And then also just being interactive with the fans. Like I went to hospital just to interact with the kids, just so they see that we're not above them. We want to be as helpful as we want to, or as we can be. So I think as coaches, you guys did a really good job in developing me. And then throughout the year, I know I had some ups and downs, but the positivity and the energy that we brought every day in practice, whether we just came off a loss or a win, it was the same energy, same mindset going into the next game, that if we bring this same energy, even in practice, to the games, that we would be successful. And I think we turned the corner toward the end of the year. I mean, it sucked that it ended the way it did, but we definitely were going in the right direction.
Yeah, no question. We definitely were. We turned the table for sure. And I think you were a important part of that. So maybe I'm going to ask one more question. And for the coaches listening, like this is the hard stuff that you sometimes got to talk about. So for Matt, those that followed our season know that he sort of had some downs, and he mentioned it, ups and downs in terms of his playing time. And listen, coaches, we can only play 5 players. And you, whatever level you coach at, there's going to be a player who's upset after every game. And that, as a coach, we got to figure out how to manage it. But Matt, for you, we definitely went through some ups and downs. I think you had a few DNPs, I think even potentially, maybe one or something like that. And then near the end, you got rolling a little bit. So talk to us, think of all coaches, not just me, but all coaches. How can we help players through that process, and how did it work for you?
To answer for me, it was really tough for me, especially coming from the success that I had like in high school and college, being the number one option to a team where I had to really find my role throughout the year with all the player changes and the managing how much I was playing. And like you said, toward the end of the year, I got rolling a little bit because I got comfortable in my role and what was needed of me. But I think as coaches, it's just like I said, just bringing that positivity and energy. I mean, whether that's talking to them after the game. I mean, every game, whether we won or lost, every coach went around, dapped everybody up, kept our spirits high, and I think that really helped me throughout the year. Like you said, I had one game where I didn't play, but like right after the game, I think you or Coach Ryan came up to me and said, "Don't worry about this because we're gonna need you for the next game." That really kept my spirits high, and I think as a coach, it's good to do that, especially with players, whether they're playing a lot or they're not playing at all, just to keep them engaged and focused. Because, like you say, you can only play 5 players at a time, but it's a team. It takes a team to be successful, not just whoever starts or whoever finishes the game. And I think, like you said, as the season went on, I started to understand that and get more comfortable in. Okay, I might not play at the end of the fourth quarter, but in the beginning of the fourth quarter, they're going to need me, and every minute is valuable, especially on this level, because everyone's so talented that a game can change in the blink of an eye. So just understanding that and understanding when my name is called, I have to be ready. But like I said, it goes back to the player development throughout practice and stuff, because if we don't work on those things, then I'm not ready to play in the game. And that kind of shows. So really good. You guys did a really good job of helping me through that time. And I think at the end of last season, I started really playing well. And I'm looking forward to building onto that next year.
Appreciate you, man. I agree. You really started getting rolling there. It was fun at the end. All right, coaches. Appreciate. Hope you guys learned something there. It's again, talk to your players. Talk to your players. Just have conversations with them. It helps you as a coach. Trust me. Matt, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Have a good rest of the summer, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, bye, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's event. Really excited for this talk. It's really great to get together with coaches. And as we all know, we've all had different careers in coaching, but this is a great chance for us to grow. I have a special guest of coaches, sort of a fireside chat done virtually. I have Charles Kissy, he's the head coach of the Guelph Nighthawks and also one of my lead assistants with the 905. I've got Ryan Schmidt. He's the head coach of the Hamilton Honey Badgers, both of those of the CEBL. They both had a tremendous season this summer. And finally, Trevor Purdy, who is the head coach of the Trinity Western University Spartans out in Vancouver. And three sort of great coaches, great men, great people, and excited that they're joining us today. For all of us, listen, we always grow in coaching, and we do it virtually right now because we have to. None of us can be on the court with our players at the moment, or at least not in full contact. So this is a chance to grow and to learn and to discuss some new things. So I hope you guys enjoy this session. We'll kind of get to know these coaches a little bit more and dive into what coaching looks like, but more importantly, what their lives are like. I always say people come first for me. So this is a great chance for us to learn from these tremendous coaches, these tremendous people, and see how they got where they are in their careers. So Charles, let's start with you. I call him Kissy, and those that know him, we can call him Kissy as well. But Coach Charles Kissy, great career at Brock University, Ryerson Women, I think before that, and then now the 905, and then the 2 seasons with the Guelph Nighthawks. So maybe just an introduction, a bit about who you are, and just some general thoughts, your top line thoughts on why you've chosen a career in coaching.
Well, I'm Charles Kissy, as Coach mentioned, and thank you again for having me. And great honor to be a part of this. And hats off to all the coaches who are taking the time to continue to get better. I think that's important. That's why you're all here. So I have coached in a number of different areas. I started coaching grade 9 girls rep basketball and just continued on. I coached a team from grade 9 to grade 12. I then got an opportunity at Ryerson University on the women's side as an assistant coach, and then 2 years as a head coach there. And then moved on and did an apprenticeship with the Toronto Raptors while Gemma was, still there, but with Dwayne Casey, the head coach at the time. And while I was doing that, I was actually coaching a Tri-County Thunder girls team as well. So just continuing to find opportunities wherever I could to develop and get better. And then that led me to Brock University, where I spent 5 years building a program there and coaching with them. And then off to the Raptors 905 in the last year, and then again parlaying those opportunities into the Guelph Nighthawks, where we just finished a summer series, myself and Ryan being a part of that. So, why I wanted to coach, and for many people know, most people don't know, I actually was a police officer before transitioning into coaching. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, one of the main reasons, was the opportunity to teach and work with people. I view myself as a teacher, and my subject is basketball. And obviously through basketball, you get to teach and engage with people in a way that is obviously very different than policing. So for me, it was all about people. As Gemma said, he's a people person. I like to consider myself one of those people as well. And I think it's fantastic. So that was kind of one of the main reasons why I ventured into coaching.
Appreciate you, Kiss. Really cool. Trevor, we're going to move to you. So Trevor Purdy was with my staff last season. He was my video guy extraordinaire. Could do things I couldn't even imagine in terms of getting our group ready and getting us all organized and keeping us on point. And he sort of moved that into a coaching job. Right, and amazing to be in the CIS and get a job right away. And he's had a good career thus far. It's just starting. He's got a team he's got to work through, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, how we develop our teams over the course of time. But Trevor, maybe a little bit about your background and kind of why you've chosen a career in coaching.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Trevor Purdy, and it's an honor to be here. Like, I'm really thankful to be here at this group of coaches. Yeah, my coaching journey. I mean, I'm a pretty regular guy who loves the game. So I mean, I started out with just a crazy passion for the game and a passion for learning and just a hunger for wanting to make basketball my profession. So, I mean, as soon as I finished playing at about 22, 23, I would just start taking every coaching opportunity I could. So whether that was coaching U9, U10, club basketball, whether that was coaching provincial team, high school, individual workouts. I just wanted to take as much opportunity to coach as possible. So, I mean, I was coaching every level. I ended up coaching high school for a while. I was an assistant coach at University of Fraser Valley, and ended up getting some cool opportunities to go coach with the 905, like Gemma mentioned, as a video coordinator. So I just kept kind of parlaying these opportunities and these experiences, and just kept kind of growing from them. And now I just entered my first season as a head coach with Trinity Western. I coach because I love the game, but more importantly, I really love working with people, and I think I'm really passionate about mentoring and impacting young people. So at the college level, it's pretty cool to be able to do that.
Really cool. Thanks, Trev. Our next guest, head coach, he's the only American on the panel, but he's got his permanent residency almost locked away. So he's Canadian now. So we welcome him to our Canadian coaching ranks. But he has a different perspective because he's done some of the AAU stuff in the States and then moved on with us and a bunch of years now with the Raptors, and sort of one of the best, I think, developers of players, in our organization and around basketball right now. So Ryan, maybe introduce yourself a little bit in terms of your background and why you chose coaching as a career.
Appreciate it, Jam. Yeah, Ryan Schmidt, originally from Oregon, like Jam said, is the only American on our 905 coach staff. And once again, just like these guys said, it's an honor to be here. I kind of attest to the same thing. The coaches who are on here, just taking the time to get better, something that I love to do. And I know Trev kind of said, because, same thing for me. I just, throughout my coaching journey, even back when I was playing, basketball's always been a huge passion of mine, and I've taken every opportunity that I can to try and better myself, even playing and now coaching. And yeah, like Jan was saying, I kind of got my start a lot, just like Coach Kissy and Trevor. Started working with youth, and I kind of, when my playing days were over with, I kind of got involved with coaching middle school kids, and it was like a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade program back here in Oregon. And fell in love with it. I fell in love with just the teaching aspect of it, and seeing kids get better. Honestly, at that age, it was day to day, week to week, and obviously month to month. It was something that at the time I never thought coaching was something I wanted to make a profession out of, yet alone a career. And after about 2 years of doing that, that was kind of when I had that drive to pursue it a little further, and got into the high school scene, did some AAU stuff with some teams both in Oregon and also, ironically, back in Toronto, Canada. In 2012, became a head coach at a prep school out in South Carolina. Did that for 4 years before finally getting hired by the Toronto Raptors, and Jerry Stackhouse was the G League head coach 3 years ago. So worked for him for 1 year, and then I worked with Jamma and Charles Kissy for 2 years, and Trevor was there with us last year. But honestly, not to sound repetitive, but it's the same thing as a lot of these guys said. I enjoy working with people. I'm a big believer that you win with people. And, from a development standpoint, it's something that I take a lot of pride in doing, working with guys with their goals and where they're trying to go in their career. And it's something that's become a passion. And it's, I enjoy doing it. Was very fortunate to get a head coaching opportunity this summer with the Hamilton Honey Badgers as part of the CBO. And we played in that summer series like Charles was talking about. And it was just an awesome experience to be able to kind of take all of my experiences up to that point, and then get an opportunity to be a head coach in my own organization for a month. Was a lot of fun. And, again, kind of looking forward to whatever the next step is, but also just trying to get better as well.
Really cool. Good answers. And I think, you guys are hearing that people are really important, right? And I think, these guys are all assistants for me, but they're also head coaches now in their own right. But regardless of what your title is, the relationship with the people that are around you are critically important, right? And that's, I think, what we all as coaches need to carry with us. Same thing for our players, right? 1 through 15, or however many players you have on your roster, you got to treat them all the same way, regardless of how many points they produce for you a night or rebounds. The respect for them as people really needs to be paramount. Hey, Kissy, I want to go back to you and talk a little bit about, not all coaches have a chance to be professional coaches and get paid to do this full time. And you had a stretch in your life where you're doing a different job. You say you're a police officer, but you're also sort of coaching on the side. So maybe talk through some of those experiences and some of the value and speak from the perspective of someone who maybe doesn't have this as a full-time job, but is doing it on the side, and ways they can get better and improve as a coach in that regard.
I think that's important. I mean, most of us don't get that opportunity, right? And I think what I've told people often is that whatever job you're doing, the first thing I actually would say is find the parallels within the jobs that you're doing, because typically there are, whether it's communication, whether it's just managing difficult situations or whatever it might be, there are certainly going to be parallels within any job that you can bring to coaching, right? So that's one. The other thing is you're doing it because you love doing it. So you just continue to find the passion and develop it. And I think if you can draw those parallels as much as possible, I think for me that helped being a police officer and transferring, commanding a room, for example. Obviously, two different things, but you need to be able to have a voice when you're in the gym and things like that that are small, that seem insignificant. But I think there are a lot so you can transfer. So that's the one thing that's kind of outside the box that I always suggest to people is really try to find what the parallels are within your current job, and just keep doing it because again, you're doing it because you love it. So you're not doing it to get paid at this point, and maybe that opportunity hasn't come up yet, and maybe it never will, and maybe you don't want it to. But the big thing is just keep trying to get better at it. Keep that passion alive. I think both coaches just talked about that. We all do it because we have a passion for the game in one way or another. And you have to keep that going. There's so much that can deter you, losing games or officials or whatever, things that can distract you from what you truly love. And I think ultimately for me, it always came back to the athletes. It always came back to helping, as Coach Ryan said, helping those athletes achieve and helping them get to where they need to go. It was never about me. And I don't think if you're doing it and you have another job or a full-time career of some sort, that you're doing it because it's about you. You're typically doing it because you are yourself wanting to give back. And so those two would be my pieces of advice is that, find the parallels and the strengths that you possess within your own careers and see how you can transfer them over and help grow your coaching that way. I think that's an important one. I think sometimes we separate them and we forget, that you're just dealing with people the same way you probably would be in your regular career. And so there's a reason why you're probably good at the job you already do. And those things you can bring to your coaching if you don't have to be a different person, as a coach. So I think that's important. And then the second thing, again, I would say is just that passion, keep that alive. You're doing it. Always remember why you're in it. I think it sounds corny, but it's very true because there are days that, you deal with a lot of politics and rules and other things that all coaches have to go through. But ground yourself back to the reason why you started in the first place, and I think that's important. And for me, I can do that. I still love the idea of teaching. I still love the idea of working with athletes. I say young people, but as I get older, they continue to be very much younger than me. So I still love that idea, and I always bring myself back to. And I've had trials and tribulations in this game, believe me. But I've always brought myself back. I haven't quit. I haven't stopped doing it. And Lord knows I could probably do other things, but this is what I still continue to love. So that's what I would suggest.
I love it. Kissy's one of my favorite people in the world because he is definitely not locked into any one area in life. So one day he's going to be a professor. The next day he's going to be a lawyer. I never know with him. He's jumping all over the place, but he embraces life. And I think that's what we do as coaches, which is really cool. But I'm going to pick up on that tribulations piece that you said. And Trevor, I'm going to forward it to you because I think as coaches, listen, like basketball is this amazing sport where you win and lose games and you go up and down and you have to process these major struggles of a basketball game, which in the context of life are not very big, but I think they're great parallels that we can learn from. And Trevor, one of the things I've always admired about you is you're always pushing forward to the next thing and you're always growing. And so you were a brand new head coach last season, right? In Canadian sport. And you had a difficult season by your win-loss record, but how are you managing to build your program and keep moving forward? Because there's going to be struggles. There's going to be wins and losses, but they're small if you keep the ship sailing. And I think that's what you're doing right now. So maybe speak about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was funny. I knew when I got the job, I got hired in May. So I got hired late. And remember the province, which was the biggest newspaper in British Columbia, they did a little story on me. And the headline was the toughest rebuild in Canadian basketball. So that's what they called my job. So, I mean, I knew coming into it that it was going to be a process. And I think my goal was to not try to build something in a year or two, like this, just to do it the right way. And I knew it was going to take 3-4 years to build it. So I kind of had that long-term goal in mind that, this isn't going to happen overnight. And we're going to do this the right way. We're going to try to bring in some young, good character guys and really do player development, work with these guys, start building an identity. And I knew it was going to be a process. So that helped. a little bit, coming in there with realistic expectations and coming in there with a plan and knowing that it was going to be a process. But yeah, I mean, last year we had a really tough year in the sense of wins and losses, and in the sense of just me kind of learning everything. It was my first real. I was a head coach in high school, but this was my first real professional head coaching job. So I mean, all of a sudden I'm the one making all the big decisions. And I think I said to somebody before, there's a big difference moving those 4 inches on a bench from that seat. It's it's a huge difference. And all of a sudden I'm making all the decisions. And yeah, I mean it was really tough. But I think for me, having good mentors was huge for me. Like having some coaches who I could bounce ideas off of, and talk about building a program, and just kind of that goal and vision I had throughout the year was huge for me. And also trying to remember, I know the first few losses for me, I'd come home and I was miserable, and just trying to remember it's just basketball, right? And trying to see the big picture of things. And like when COVID hit, it's really helped me spending all this time with my family. And after losses, as the years go on, you come home and see my daughter after the game, and you just kind of realize it's just basketball, and there is more important things in life than this. And just having the big picture and goal in mind that what we're building is happening. I mean, we had I think net rating, we were 3 or 4 in Canada for biggest net rating improvement for point differential on offense, defense. So a huge step. And just like we won back-to-back games for the first time in, I think it was 5 years. And just knowing we're building something. And as we build an identity, we're like the #1 transition team in Canada as far as points per game in transition, percentage of time in transition. Like some of the goals we had offensively as a team, we did, and just kind of having the big picture in mind and just having those goals and building towards that.
Yeah, it's so good, right? I think like basketball is this thing that as coaches sometimes takes over our lives, right? And I had the same thing, Trev. Like I remember some games, my first season in 905, you'd lose the game and you thought the world was coming to an end, right? And it's not. Like you can go home and see your kids and the sun's going to come up the next day. And I think as coaches, we need to remember that, because honestly, that's the trajectory of our players is what's really most important, right? And I think making sure they are feeling good and we coach for our players. That's why we do it. That's why all of us do it, right? That's the reason we're basketball coaches, is because we get to help our players grow as people. And I think part of that is teaching them these lessons about winning and losing and how you manage it as you strive to win as many of them as you possibly can. And that's sort of the journey that a lot of us are in. So thank you for those words. Really, really good. Ryan, I'm going to switch to you a little bit and talk about like player engagement and dialogue and like relationship. And there's a lot of stuff there. And I think too often it's simplified by like player development is not just a simple form of basketball. Like player development is about getting to know your players, getting to know your athletes. And we do these exit interviews, right, in pro sports. And every exit interview that I do for like 3 seasons now or 2 seasons, at the end, almost every one of my players says, man, Ryan's the best. I love Ryan. Like honestly, to a man, they all say it because he spends so much time with them during the season. So Ryan, maybe you could speak about how you build those relationships, and for coaches that maybe are uneasy or don't know how to do it, what are some of the tricks you've done to build that great rapport with your guys?
Yeah, I think the first thing, I've been asked this question before. I think the first thing, you got to be genuine and authentic. I mean, be yourself. Because I think it's the #1 thing is players kind of see through if you're trying to fake it. But I think to me, it kind of goes back to what we've kind of been talking about through this entire, segment so far. It's just, I think, we all have a passion for coaching, and I think and we've all talked about the passion for helping people. And then also too, within our own professions and our journeys, this is our career. And I think there's so many parallels, and as far as like our own personal journeys individually and then what these players are going through. And so for me, that's something I've always kind of connected with guys. And one of the first questions I always ask guys all the time is, what are your goals? And, we kind of both short term and long term. And then kind of from that, just through conversation, the first question the second question I ask them right after that, do your habits match your goals? And it's something like right away, something I try to connect with guys. And I'm really big on, you guys are now professionals at this level. And in order to achieve what you're telling me and telling us as a staff you want to achieve, your habits have got to match that. And so then from that point, I'm kind of giving them a little bit of help and insight on whether it's diet and nutrition, or helping them with the routine and getting sleep and all these little things like off court. And I'll send them little articles here and there. Maybe it's something I read on, JJ Redick and a routine that he has done for 13, 14 years in his NBA career. Like I'll send that article to them and just constantly checking in with these guys And at the same time, like, these guys are not making in the G League, they're not making a lot of money. And so you're constantly just try to be there for them, right? A lot of them are living away from home. Some of them it's their first job out of college, and again, there's a lot of bumps in the road and ups and downs that they're learning what it takes to be a professional athlete. But for me, it's just it's being genuine, it's being authentic, it's caring, but also in order to do that, you got to know who they are, where they come from, what makes them tick. And then kind of feed into that a little bit. And a lot of it is it's also having a lot of honest and tough conversations throughout the season, right? I think a lot of times, it's very easy for coach or players to blame JAMA for not playing them, and that's when the real conversation is like, hold on a second, man, like let's go back and watch some of the game film and you start to show like you have maybe a 2-3 minutes stint where you were in. This is what you gave us in those 2 or 3 minutes, right? So instead of feeding into the JAMA's not doing, he's not playing it. No, it's you're not doing your job. It's like these are the hard, honest conversations. And again, players respect that because I think no matter what level you coach guys, players, they want to get better. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, it's having those hard, honest conversations. Like, look, you need to be better. And a lot of that, as far as being better, isn't just in the game. It's what are you doing leading up to the game, right? And that comes back to, again, those habits. Like, what are you doing if we play on a Thursday? What does your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday look like? And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's not JAMA's fault. It's not our fault. Like, you weren't doing what you had to do to prepare. And so a lot of it's kind of like the behind the scenes and helping them with the routine. And a lot of times if we play at 7, like I'm in the arena at like 4:00 and working with guys and trying to help them instill like, this is what your routine as a professional should look like.
Man, that's so good. For the head coaches out there listening, you can tell I got a pretty good staff that makes my job pretty easy. So appreciate you guys for that. Thank you, Ryan, for continuing to field some bullets out there on the playing field. Listen, let's do a quick one, last quick question for each of you, and we'll kind of wrap up this session. It's been really cool, and hopefully everyone's got some nuggets that they've learned from these great coaches. So the last quick hit question is your favorite coaching moment. Right? So your favorite coaching moment thus far in your careers, in whatever level it is. So like for myself, like one really cool one for me is coaching the All-Star game probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I got to coach this incredible group of like, the best players in the world, right? And they were right there sitting beside me, and I got to work with them and coach them. That's been a pretty cool moment. Obviously winning the championship last year is like right up there as well. And then probably my first game in the G League for me, and getting a win in my very first game, and the guys bringing me the ball, and like it was pretty special, sort of to say this is, I won one. Like, it's pretty neat. So let's go to you, Kissy, and say what's your favorite moment so far as a coach?
Just rhymed out about 3 or 4, and I have about 3 or 4 as well. No, but you know what? The one you just talked, your first game, which is also my first professional game as well. That was kind of neat. And another one would be just going to the national tournament when I was at Brock University. Ryan talks about, taking the time to sort of build and develop. And so, 5 years later, we came in with a goal and we finally achieved it. That was kind of neat and special to be able to do that.
Awesome. Trevor, how about for you?
All right, I'm going to cheat 2. I'm going to go 2. I got 2. One was at Scotiabank Arena with 905. I typically, every game I did for the 905, I sat in the back room and cut film. So we were playing at Scotiabank Arena against Iowa, and you invited me on the bench, so I got to sit behind the bench that game. And my wife and daughter were there, and I remember, like, I'm a huge NBA fan. So it's kind of like sitting in like a Scotiabank Arena. I think that might have been the first game I sat behind a bench. And like, I remember after the game, my daughter was there. She came down the court. So I walked off holding my daughter. She was like 6 months. And I remember Alicia got a picture of me walking out of the tunnel at Scotiabank Arena holding my daughter. And like, I love that picture because it's just like, it's such a surreal moment for me as like just a basketball junkie, like coaching a game in Scotiabank Arena and then having my daughter there. It just like walking out of the tunnel was a pretty cool moment. And then as a head coach, my first win last year, obviously super memorable because of my first win, but my high school or my assistant coach in college was there, who was my mentor. A bunch of my family came out, and it was just really cool. Like that first win, the way it happened, like it was a really close game. We got a steal at the very end of the game, so it was like a huge moment. And I just remember like after the game tearing up a little bit because everyone was celebrating, and I'll always remember those 2 coaching moments forever.
Man, so good. And both of them touch on family and community, right? And I think like we could do another like 4-hour talk, all of us, on the importance of family and how much that really means to us as coaches. But I remember that game for you and your daughter, and it's so good, man. It's awesome. Congrats. And Ryan, how about for you? Your favorite coaching moments thus far?
Yeah, no, I'll probably say two as well. I think my first one comes when my last year as a high school coach in South Carolina, we beat Oak Hill Academy. So for those familiar, as the one that's probably the top prep school back in the States, and they're, go back 30 years, and they've had a number of All-Americans have gone on to play at, various colleges and gone on to the NBA. So that year we were actually the only team in the country to beat them. They ended up going like 44-1. We were the one loss, and they won the national championship. And then my other one, which just actually happened pretty recently, was my first win as a professional head coach, who ironically was against Mr. Charles Kissy. So for two reasons. Again, Charles is a guy that I really highly respect, so it was fun competing against him. And then also too, just kind of like you said, Jam, like, the players bringing me the game ball, and it was actually Dwayne Notice, who you guys know I'm really close with. So he brings you the ball, and they all dump water on me, and it was just a pretty cool moment that they, something I'll remember forever.
Yeah, it's really good. So I think for all of us coaches that were listening to this, like, coaching is just a wonderful path, right? And it doesn't have to be a professional path. It can just be something you do in your own time. But coaching your athletes and building a relationship with them is really important and really critical. And I think it fuels us. It does for me anyway, right? I'm fueled by my relationship with my players and with my staff. And it's three of them are the best that I'm so happy that they could join us today, because they're all moving on to really big careers and will continue along this coaching journey. And I think the last part is that we all do it in community. Right. And I think that I say it all the time, and I'll continue to say it. There are better coaches in Canada than we're ever given credit for. And I think there's a tremendous group of people that are really developing the sport, and you all are part of that. So thanks for sharing in today's session, for learning and for growing as coaches. It's really important. All the best to everybody, and let's go Raps. Hey, coaches, welcome back. Hope you're enjoying your time so far. I think it's been a great session. Lots of good discussion and dialogue. Listen, that last group is pretty unique and pretty cool to see these coaches that have taken their careers and moved them forward and found a way to enjoy coaching and grow as young people. It's been tremendous. Thank you guys again for being part of that. Really special. So moving forward again here, we got a few more sessions. We got some upcoming messages, and then we're going to break into our training videos, which actually will take you on court with some great volunteers that came in and show you some things on court, some shooting specifically, some real detailed shooting work about building confidence and building consistency, and then some really good stuff in terms of some simple shell defense, and then also moving forward to figure out basically some pick and roll reads, pick and roll coverages, just some simple cues you can sort of use with your athletes to get them better. As you're going through this session, remember, there's always these golden nuggets. I talk to my players all the time, but what's your nugget for the day? And as you go through the session, as we go to our breakout rooms after this, just try and find a nugget and take that nugget with you that can grow your career. That's what we're all about, and that's what we're doing here today. So check out these messages, and we'll be back with our virtual coaching clinic after this.
We are in a time where we need to keep that conversation going. We need to be heard from. We need to speak loud and clear. We need to understand that, things have to be done for situations to be changed.
You can see the systemic racism that's there, and it's our responsibility, our duty to hit it head on.
The biggest platform for us, just as basketball players, a lot of people look up to us, and to use it wisely and to speak out for what's right.
We know what's going on in the world and where our focus should be. I know basketball has been missed in its love, but it's a lot of crazy things going on in this universe, and we need you guys, along with a lot of other people, to put this word out, this message out that, we need unity, we need love, and we need positivity.
Enough is enough, and we gotta demand a change, especially, as far as process and systems go, how everything is set up, so we can educate next generations on, how to treat other human lives. To me, it's pretty simple. It's being more responsible as human beings.
Raptors 905 basketball clinics. Learn from the Raptors 905 coaching staff and have your team be put through the paces on the Raptors 905 court at Paramount Fine Food Center.
Today, to have a panel of young coaches, players, and just get their words and their experiences. And it just reiterates what we try to teach the kids every single day.
We were even more fortunate this week to find out that we were one of 5 teams that were chosen to then stay and have a clinic and be able to hear from some of the coaching staff and players.
It was a great experience for us to come to the game and then get that extra, intimate feeling with the coaches and with the court and doing the training session. A great Saturday to spend with your family and your team.
It's just been a fantastic experience.
Contact us. Tickets at Raptors905.com.
All right, coaches, we're going to get started with some of the actual film work, which is pretty exciting, right? To see on court what we can do and how we can apply all these different things. Great information so far, and hopefully this film stuff will be valuable for you as well. The first session will be a bit of a shooting sort of talk led by myself, which really just talks about sort of being consistent and being confident and how we teach that. How do we really educate that and make that ingrained in our shooters and our players, in our athletes? So we'll spend some time doing that. You'll see that on video, and then I'll jump back in and sort of we'll go back and forth and get ready for the next one. But then we got some good pick and roll stuff as well. And then just sort of a discussion about defense and sort of where it's going and how we need to guard and some of the larger strategies around that over the last chunk of time. So some good sessions for you. I hope you guys enjoy the shooting.
Okay, athletes, welcome. So we're going to work on our shooting today, okay? Shooting is one of the most important things you do, obviously, in the game of basketball. And to me, it comes down to 2 really important things: confidence and consistency. So there's simple ways, and we'll show you some different activities to build that consistency and build that confidence. And it begins when you walk in the gym. Form shooting. Our Raptor players start this way every single time, and this is how we get going. So athletes, let's do the same drill that we worked on earlier. You're going to start. We got shot, 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 shot all around. Let's start with, and the goal is perfect swishes. And by making a perfect swish, you're trying to do the subtle adjustments to perfect your shot. So let's start and just see what this looks like. Go ahead. So shooting that ball good. We got a rebounder to help out. Really simple. Driving the ball up and down, straight through the hoop. Really working on consistency, feeling the ball off your fingertips, building a consistent shot. Let's go around one more time. Really good. Really good by everybody. Nice rhythm. Nice rhythm. Nice rhythm. Good. Good. As coaches, talking positively to your athletes really makes a big difference. It helps them feel good and feel confident about their shot. Right, we talk about their makes and their misses the same way. Freeze there. One trick when you're working on teaching shooting is this: regardless if the ball goes in or out, there's always positive instruction you can give. Okay, so even if the athlete misses the shot, there's something they've done well somewhere in their shot. So find something positive what they've done, and then give them the corrective to make them actually make the shot the next time. Let's do a competition. Okay, first to 2 perfect swishes. First to 2 perfect swishes. Let's reverse the order and get your brain working the other way. We'll start right here. First to 2 perfect swishes. No, front of the rim. Make the adjustment next time. Good, here we go. Up Darlington, good. That's a perfect swish. You've got 1. Keep track of your own total. Perfect swishes, good. Good. Find your rhythm, good. Drive that ball, not perfect. And these got to be really good, right? Make the subtle adjustments. Nice, drive your elbow. Nice, perfect one. Really good job. Really good job. Find that elbow positioning, drive the ball down, good. Nice. And freeze. Okay, that was perfect. Was that 2? Okay, you won. Good job. Excellent. Really good job. That's a rookie. Good job, Rook. So listen, so shooting is fun, and this is something you can do every single time you walk in the gym. Okay, as a team, there can be another group going down there. You can be competitive against them. For coaches, find a way to get your athletes to shoot the ball, form shooting like every day. Every day. Get hundreds and hundreds of form shots is really the way to build your shooting form. And again, that comes back to our 2 primary points is consistency, right, and confidence. And it takes a lot of reps. And start here where they can be successful. The next drill we're going to go to is 23 move back shooting. Can I use you for this one? We're going to get you standing right here. Other athletes can get off. This is just 1 person at a time. You can do this on multiple hoops if you have that space. So it's 23 move back. Your goal is to make 2 makes before you make 3 misses. Okay? It's the same idea of being consistent, and the main focus in this drill is to get the ball going straight. You want to avoid going off to the left and to the right. So think of going straight, straight, straight. So as coaches, when you're watching this, you're just sort of seeing how they're doing, and you give them subtle little tips as they're going through the drill. Let's go straight shooting, 2 makes to move back. There's 1, really good job. There we go again. Good, back a step, moving back, good. Drive that elbow, good. There's 2, good. Nice, back a step, really good job. Finding that rhythm. This drill creates situations where you have to make a shot, right? If she misses it, like there's 1, so we're 1 and 1 right now. So we'll see what happens on the next one. The brain's starting to get involved in this. There's 2 makes, gets to move back. Good, pressure release, really good. There's one miss, okay? So now the brain's starting to think, what do I need to adjust from that last shot to make this one better? Really good job. 1 and 1. Big shot now, pressure shot, okay, pressure shot. Good, and she makes it, really good job. So pause for a second. So this drill is good because what you do is you force them to shoot pressure shots. In the game, sometimes they got to make it with a closeout. They got to make it because the clock's winding down. And this drill is a simple way in a contained environment where everyone can be controlled, right? Your knees are controlled, your elbows controlled, no one's flying at you, and you got to find a way to deal with the pressure and make the big shots. Okay, let's see how far back you can go. Here we go again. 23, move back. Okay, first starting on a miss. What's the adjustment you got to make? Try and get this thing straight, straight, straight. Really important. Okay, now here we go. Now you adjust, right? Now you adjust, okay? And another thing, what happened on that shot? Why did it miss to the side? Do you know why? Do you know what you did? No, it's a real question. Do you know what happened? So part of this coaching teaching is a dialogue, okay? So coaches, don't just teach them all the time. They have the answers. They're smarter than you. They know their shot, right? They're going to understand what went wrong or what didn't go wrong, and working with them to figure that out so they can make the adjustments is better. So you don't need me all the time. You can make your own adjustments. Shoot it again, see what happens. Again, you're making your own adjustments by shooting multiple shots from the same spot. There's 2 in a row. Good. Yep, moving on back. Good. So you're at 1 miss, okay? Good. And what you're doing, and freeze this, as a coach, what I'm watching is the subtleties of your shot. Where are your knees? Where are your feet? Where's your elbow going? What are the differences you're doing? We talk a lot about shooting straight. And sometimes if you miss it front or back, it's okay, but as long as it's straight. And working on your straight shooting is about getting your body in line. So you're really good in that you have a pretty good line of symmetry straight onto the hoop. So all of those shots were straight. Some miss, some make, but that's okay if they're straight, right? So really important. So you're in 0-0 right now. What do you want? One make. Okay, let's see what you got. Nice. So that's the dialogue and the interplay that I think has to happen in shooting. It's never a one-sided street where only the athlete's going or only the coach is going. You're working together and collaboratively asking questions to try and get them better. So really good job of shooting the ball with confidence and consistency. Great job. One last thing for you coaches, and we always talk about how do we extend the range of our athletes. We think, can they shoot a 3 or can they not shoot a 3? And especially for younger athletes, you're trying to decide, can I shoot the 3-pointer shot or not? This is a simple activity that slowly extends athletes' range from shooting to get them behind the 3-point line, but not sort of altering their shot to do it. Because so many people shoot a 3 differently than they shoot a regular shot. There's a small little drill that'll help us build the capacity of an athlete to shoot the 3 in a simple way. Okay, here's what it looks like. Here's what you're gonna work on, okay? You're just gonna shoot 10 shots. And what I want you to do is not think about where you are. So right now you know you're behind the 3-point line. And some people psychologically, they get behind the 3-point line and they got to shoot a certain way because it's a 3. So you have an entire box of space and I just want you to shoot and move, shoot and move, shoot and move, and don't look down, okay? You can step out of bounds back here, you can be over here, doesn't matter. All you're looking at is the rim and I want you to move every single shot. You're shooting 10. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Go ahead. Rebound, the pass is going to come from there. Good, just move around. Good. Move anywhere, good, 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 good. Perfect, good. Good. See what it looks like. Nice. Just move, shoot, good. Find a rhythm, very good. Don't worry if it goes in or out. Sideways, back and front, wherever you are. Yeah, just shoot the ball. Just shoot the ball, just shoot the ball, just shoot the ball. Good, good, good. Nice, really good. Really good, really good. Let's say shoot 2 more. Shoot 2 more. Perfect. And 1 more. Good. And freeze right there. Okay, so really good shooting. Okay, so for us as coaches, it's important that we remember that very seldom do you get to shoot like 25 shots from the exact same spot. So having some variance in the way you shoot is important, although getting volume reps obviously is a good way to build confidence and consistency. But this one really helps extend the range. So when you were first shooting, what I hoped you did was forget where you were on the floor. Because sometimes as athletes, we say, oh, this is a 3, so I gotta shoot a certain way to get it all the way there, especially for younger athletes. But if you start here and you just shoot it, and you feel what that feels like, and then you're here, and you see what that feels like, and even moving all the way back to here sometimes, and shoot this one from out of bounds, helps you to build consistency, and we call these weightlifting shots. So shooting from deep behind the 3 is like a weightlifting shot, which you can do as well. Get a few of those up to really just build your confidence and consistency. So a drill like this you would do, maybe make 10 from this side, 10 from the other side, and you're looking to do maybe 100 a day as a way to slowly build up your confidence in your shooting. So listen, there's 3 simple activities that you guys can do as coaches with your athletes. They're really easy to do, but again, they're predicated on talking to the athlete and having a one-on-one discussion, because to me, shooting is something you work on together. It's not something that's done exclusively the athlete, exclusively the coach, and it is about building the confidence and being consistent in what you do so you can make your athletes better shooters.
It's always easier to coach shooting when you have good shooters. So thank you to those volunteers. Really good job, ladies and gentlemen, to demonstrate some good shooting there. We're going to move on to some pick and roll stuff. Now, listen, what you're about to watch sort of starts very simply and has just the basics sort of built into it. But I want you to envision how it could be progressed. And Coach Arsalan, who's going to lead you in this next session, will kind of give you some of those progressions. Obviously, with COVID conditions, we couldn't get it sort of really rocking and rolling there in the gym. But this gives you a bit of a guidance on what a drill like this could look like, what some of your progressions can be, and just some basic, simple pick and roll reads that I think hopefully can apply at multiple levels. So hopefully you guys enjoy the session.
Hey coaches, hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Arsalan Jamil. I work with the Raptors 905. I am an assistant coach on the coaching staff. So today we will be going through, in my segment, we will be going through pick and roll options. All right, so the first screen that we're going to work on is a side ball screen. A lot of times it comes out of an action called swing. Okay, so the ball gets swung to the middle, pass it over, pass and follow. Ball screen comes, he's rolling, you're getting downhill, hit him with a pocket pass. That's one option. Now, one thing I want to reiterate is you pass, bang, pass it over there, freeze. It's very important for coaches, you have to make sure your ball handlers are patient at the screen level. A lot of times we rush into the action and the defense basically catches on, which takes away our advantage. Our main focus in pick and rolls is to create an advantage. So the screen comes, your job, your screener's job is to make sure there's contact made on screens. If there is no contact, then we're not doing something right. So let's make sure we talk about that in practices. We practice that on a daily basis because that's what we try to do here, and it is an issue at all levels. Screening has to be done the right way. Screening is almost like rebounding. You have to do it right. So you're creating contact, you're being patient, you're coming off this time, you don't have the pocket pass, you're going to keep attacking, keep coming. Now the help comes and you got the late dump off. Okay, so that's another option for us to get the ball to our roller. Okay, so let's go through a few reps of that. Mix it up. Let me see both, and then we'll keep progressing. Go ahead. All right, so ball gets swung. I'm guarding Monica. I'm fighting over. She gets downhill, pocket pass. Gotta finish. Okay, boom, ball gets swung. Good patience. I step in, late dump off. Good pass. I'm guarding Darlington. Ball gets swung. I'm in my drop, good pocket pass, good finish. Oh, you gotta finish that, Darlington. Now we're going to talk about the advanced pass because that's another option for us to get the ball to our roller, okay? So this time, ball gets swung, bang. Go screen her, you're coming off, you're staying up top. Where are you going? You gotta stay up top, you're gonna advance it, and now you're looking for the lob pass to the big. Okay? Let's go. Swing, pass, pass and follow, advance pass. Good. Next group. Good pass, Peterson. Same thing. Let's go at a little bit more pace. Ball gets swung. I'm in my drop. That's okay. I'm in my drop. Good pass, good finish. Another read that we like to make coming out of side ball screen is get downhill, get in the paint, and sometimes the lob pass is available. If you have a big that's athletic, that's long, that can get anything around the rim, then we just throw it at the rim for him, and he or she can go get it. We're going to start, mid-ball screens come out of, our bigs are usually, they initiate from the dunker spot, which is this area right here, where the free throw line and the baseline meet each other. This is the area we want our bigs to be for spacing purposes. We got the corner, slot, corner, and our bigs, they kind of hang out either on this side. If the ball is on the right side there, we like to be opposite dunker. If the ball was on that side, then Darlington would be over here, okay? So for the way we are set up, this is where you start. and you go into a mid-ball screen. Okay? Freeze, 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 freeze. So it's very important, coaches, that the mid-ball screen is set at an angle like the way it's set here. You do not want your screen to be set facing the sideline, because what that allows, step to it, facing the sideline. No, this way, stand like that. If you're setting the mid-ball screen this way, it's very easy for me to get under and re-engage and take away the advantage that we're trying to create. But if he sets this at an angle, now I'm forced to fight over. It's harder for me to slip under if she has done her job of keeping me off of her and again, we're assuming that I'm fighting over. Okay, I'm fighting over the screen. So you do not want to give me any option where I can go under. That's why angling the screen in the mid is very, very important. So if she's done her job and she gets off, I'm chasing her. And that's exactly what we want, because now we're potentially playing 2-on-1 basketball, 3-on-4 basketball, 4-on-5 basketball. That's the advantage we want to create. Okay, so let's go again through it. Pocket pass to start. Let's go through a few pocket passes, then let's go do some dump offs, and then let's go do some lobs, okay? Wait for the screen, good. Pocket pass, finish. Next player up. Wait for the screen. Yup, good. Good pocket pass. Good job, good job, good job. Mid-ball screen comes, I'm in my drop, I take away the pocket pass, lob that. Good finish. Christine, go to the corner. Now we got 1, 2, 3 players. So we have gone from 2 to 3. So now we're building up this drill to more players, more reads. So again, Darlington, you're going to come and set the mid. Nicole, you will come off. Okay? Pocket pass. Freeze it. One thing you have to make sure when you come off, you want to make sure we get deeper into the paint as much as possible. Okay? Because remember, there's a defender that's probably chasing Nicole when she comes out of the ball screen. So once the pocket, let's do that again. Let's do that again. We'll set the mid. Pocket pass, freeze it. Now, what happens in games is there's somebody playing defense right here on Christine. Okay? Some teams, they tell this defender to pull in and take away this role. In that case, he now has 2 decisions to make. He's got to read me. Does he have a layup to the basket, or he's got to look out for the corner kick out? Okay, so that's the read that you'll be making. I'm going to be this corner defender. Let's go through it, and then you make the read after the pocket pass. Okay, let's go. I'm in the corner, I'm in the corner, I'm in the corner. I decide to stay attached, and Darlington goes for the dunk. I'm in the corner, I'm in the corner, I'm in the corner. I pull in, good pass, good shot. Okay, now, another read that's also available is for your ball handler to make. Okay, this is where this drill becomes very beneficial for our players, because we can show them the reads that are potentially there, and they'll start to learn and put that in their game. So let's have you handle Ellen. Okay, come set the mid. Okay, now when Ellen comes off, if the corner help pulls in, she's got to be able to see him and her and read me. I'm guarding her. She's got to be able to see me pulling in, and if she can see that, then she's got to make that corner pass herself. Okay, so that's the read that you want to make sure your ball handlers see coming out of ball screens. So Ellen, let's see a couple of those. Good. Come off. Good pass. Good shot. Good. So now we're going 4 players on the floor. So you'll pass here, we go there. You're going to use the ball screen. You're rolling. Bang. So give me Christine in the corner there. Okay, again, you guys are going to flow into it, pass and follow. Okay, but now you have to make reads again, right? If she hits you on the pocket pass, you got to read her defender, right? because her defender might pull in, and now you got to make a pass to the corner, okay? So let's see that happen. Let's go. I'm in the corner. Good. Use the screen. Good, good. Good shot, good shot, good shot, Christine. Okay, Monica, you got it now. Boom, boom. Wait for the screen. Good job, Monica. Good job, roll. That pass is there as well. Good read, Monica. Good read, good read. So this is what we do with our players. We'll start with 2-on-2. Just teach them pocket pass. We teach them late dump offs. We teach them lob passes, and then we build it on to 3 players. So now when you come off the screen, you have to either hit the roller, or you're hitting the corner, or you're hitting the roller, and then the roller is making the decision to either go to the basket or hit it to the corner. And then you can make this more live for your players by going players against players. You can also go players against coaches if you don't want to push them too much. But this right here against no defense is kind of how we start, and then we start to add the detail and the layers by adding.
Coach Arsalan, I appreciate you so much, man. It's really cool. You're growing as a coach, and I think for all of us, that's what this is all about. How do we grow as a coach each and every day? So a great example by you, Coach, to continue to get better and provide everyone some really good information. Going to move on to some history. For those that don't know, I was a history major in university, but one of my other assistant coaches, Eric Corey, is going to take us through the history of defense a little bit and go back in time, but then take us into modern day defense and some of the things we need to think about and how do we build our defense and really work with the shot spectrum that we all know on the offensive side, but correlate it to the defensive part of the ball and what are the things we need to do for that. So a good history lesson and some great instruction. E, over to you.
Hi coaches, my name's Eric Coury. I'm an assistant coach with Raptors 905. Today I'm going to talk about modern defense, and it's probably catered to the NBA, but this talk's applicable to college level, high school level, and even the youth. We've heard a lot about the shot spectrum lately in the NBA and basketball in general. And everybody knows shots at the rim and shots from the three-point line are the highest valued shots. But how does that impact your defense? If you know that's what the offense is trying to take, it's pretty important for you to try and take those shots away, right? So today we're going to talk about how to build a defense to take away those high-valued shots and kind of the evolution of defense over the past 20 years or so. So like lots of you, during the hiatus, there wasn't really any live sports on TV. So I caught myself watching some reruns and the sports networks were playing, whether it was The Last Dance, which was awesome, or just games from 10, 20 years ago. And you look and the game looks so different. I remember a clip during The Last Dance, there was probably 6 or 8 guys in the paint and pretty much all 10 guys were standing inside the three-point line. So if you want to talk about taking away shots at the rim and shots from 3, well, that's pretty easy. Nobody's standing at the three-point line and the rim's completely packed. But as you watch more and more recent games, you see the court starting to spread out a little bit as teams and players starting to realize the value of the three-point shot. So you see guys standing, oftentimes NBA teams play with 4-out spacing, and even some teams now are starting to play 5-out spacing, meaning you have 5 offensive players spaced around the three-point line. Now defenders really have a tough decision to make. Are they going to help in and take away the paint, but then you're giving up the three-point line? Are you going to get hugged up to your matchup? You might open up the paint. I think the clearest way to kind of illustrate that is the evolution of the pick-and-roll defense in the NBA. Way back in the day, 20 years ago or so, teams would guard the pick-and-roll by the big would hedge out, the screener would roll, and the weak side would come in and chuck them or tag them. And you used to hear that all the time. I'm sure so many of you coaches have done a tag the roller drill or chuck the roller. Big man would roll down the paint and everybody on the weak side would go in and hit him, right? But that was easy when you had players standing at 18 feet, 20 feet, and all you had to do was take one small step and you're all the way at the roller. Nowadays, players are standing way past the three-point line. Some teams have guys spaced out all the way 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line. So now you have a lot of distance to cover for 1, and 2, if that pass is sprayed to you, your matchup, they've got an open three-point shot, right? So teams like LeBron James's teams, Luka Doncic's teams, they come out, run a pick and roll, zip it weak side, and they're getting wide open threes. Now defenses had to adjust. No longer could they pull in all the way and tag and give up these open threes. It's shot after shot after shot. It would kill you. So teams said, let's try and guard the pick and roll 2-on-2. 2 offensive players, 2 defensive players. And there are a couple of different ways of doing that. You had teams like Indiana really started it. You have Roy Hibbert, big 7'2" guy, dropping all the way back in the drop, and he would stand below the free throw line. Ball handler would come off the pick and roll, look downhill and see a big man standing at the rim. His choices were either go run and attack him, which is tough because he would just go vertical and take up all the space, or stop, shoot that free throw line jumper, that mid-range shot. And when we talk about the shot spectrum, that's not a rim shot, that's not a three-point shot. So that was a win for the defenses. The second way to do it was to switch. So you have teams like Houston and Golden State. They would have Draymond Green come, ball comes off, Draymond Green switches onto the ball handler, the guard goes under and takes the big, you played the pick and roll 2-on-2. You haven't involved the weak side and you stay safe. But teams got better, offenses got better again, right? So now, picture James Harden coming off the pick and roll, Damian Lillard. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna drop your big all the way back and let them shoot a pull-up three? For a lot of players, that's not a great shot. For them, it's a great shot, right? So you have to adjust again. Are you gonna switch all the way at the three-point line? It's a little bit tricky, right? So now you realize, okay, maybe we do have to involve some other players as well. And that brings me back to the start with the shot spectrum. The two best defenses in the league this year, or so far this season, Milwaukee Bucks and Toronto Raptors. The two teams that have given up the most three-point shots in the league this season, Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors. So maybe, as we say, the shot spectrum, the rim's the best shot, three-pointer is the second best shot. Maybe it's pretty important to take away the rim first and figure out the three-point shot later, because not all three-point shots are created equal, right? There's some good ones and there are some questionable ones. So the proper defense has to be able to protect the rim first, and that's a 5-person job. And you coaches out there, you have to make sure you get all 5 athletes involved to take away the rim. So why don't we take it to the court and go through a couple examples of how we can do that. To give you guys the background, we're gonna touch on defense a little bit now. We'll head on court, we'll go through a couple like different actions, and then we'll get going. So we're gonna set up to kind of talk about our off-ball defense and where we should be positioned to really try and protect the paint, using not only the person on the ball and the big, but using your perimeter defenders to protect the paint. So point guard, can you have the ball here, please? And why don't we have you on offense and you on defense, if that's okay? So can you go to the corner for me, please? So as a general rule of thumb, when you are off ball, you want to be as close to the paint as possible, where if a skip pass was made, you could still recover on time. So that's a very simple rule of thumb, but a very good starting point for you to get at. So if Christine was hugged up with her matchup, right now it looks like a wide open paint for the point guard Ellen to go attack, right? Very easy. If you take it to the other extreme and stand all the way under the rim, now a skip pass is going to lead to a wide open three, right? So we want to find the right balance. What's the easy way to find out? Let's see, how far can you go? So you're going to start here under the rim. You're going to zip a pass to the corner. Could you get there in time to contest it? Probably not. Try again. You're going to close out. Skip pass. Can you get there? Yeah. So that's how far she can help off ball. Now let's move around a bit. So you're going to stay here. You're going to come closer. You'll be right here. Stay where you were. If you're all the way in and the skip pass is made, can you get there in time? Probably not, right? So now as the ball moves, you have to move as a defender. Your off-ball players have to move. And that's kind of the key to off-ball defense. So now if Ellen starts here, you probably have to be a bit closer. Might be a little high, but wouldn't be too bad a position. But if you start dribbling to your left, now you can start moving as well, right? Because if you throw that left-handed hook pass, you can probably get there in time if you put a little more effort. Yeah. You're guarding here. Okay, so now we have 5 players on the court. And we're talking about off-ball positioning still. So with the ball all the way here, let's just stay static for now. If the pass is made, you can still recover, right? Go a little bit more speed. I know you're just sitting. So on this flight of the pass, recover, perfect. Now a slight variation, can you bring the ball back here? If you're standing all the way here, there's still a driving lane, right? So try and be closer to the ball. You're taking away driving lanes as much as you can. And that way your athlete, right now when you have the ball, the paint looks pretty crowded, right? So you're going to pull in. And now look, the ball handler sees 2 bodies standing pretty much in line with the rim. Even if she dribbled right by me, there's 2 help defenders right there. You're protecting the paint with your off-ball players, right? So now the pass is made. You recover, and now you have to shift. Perfect. The pass is made. Perfect. Didn't even have to say anything. They're on ball, they're covering, the paint has been walled off. We're going to be doing the same thing now. It's 3-on-3, so as the ball shifts, the 3 defenders are going to shift with the same mindset of you're packing the paint so the offense doesn't see a clear driving lane. Okay? Swing it. So now you have nail, corner, 2-9, nail, swinging. Yeah, talk out your positions, nail, drop in. Awesome. Good rotations. Pack off that paint. Good job, swing it. And look, paint's crowded every time, no driving lanes. There's no driving lanes. Awesome, good to go. So Christine's got the 2-9, Monica had the nail. Now Ellen's got the nail and Christine's got the ball. Someone always has the nail, someone always has the rim. Someone has the nail, Christine, under the rim. We got the nail protected, and now she's closing out to the corner. Somebody drops to the rim. Someone at the nail, someone at the rim. There's always someone at the nail, someone at the rim, someone on ball. And that packs off the paint. Defense sees nothing, defense sees no opening to attack. Someone at the nail, 2-9, 2-9, and nail, nail and 2-9. Close out to contest. That's perfect.
Really good stuff, E. Appreciate it. I always say you're the smartest guy in the room every time I have to introduce you. So thanks for sharing some of that wisdom. For those that don't know, Eric came from an analytics background with the Raptors and then joined my staff and is now one of my lead assistant coaches who sort of covers now all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and you name it, special teams and everything in between. And you see there that he sort of has some great information. But I think that's the truth for all of us, isn't it? That we can't just be sort of one-dimensional coaches. I think Coach Nick Nurse obviously has demonstrated that now with coming in, everyone thinking he was just an offensive coach, and now our defense is really cooking. So I think as coaches, we all need to aspire to that, to be multi-dimensional coaches and not just focus on one area, but coach the game of basketball in all its many facets. We're going to move on to a different kind of area now, and obviously with the 905, we're very blessed and privileged to have a pretty extensive staff, full-on athletic therapy and everything. And Rayhan Malik is going to join us now, who is one of the best, I think, in the business. Comes from Alex McKechnie and our group in the Raptors, and just knows everything about how to maintain and prevent injury, probably most importantly, but then what to do if something does occur. So ankle sprains are obviously one of the main things that us as basketball coaches will see. So a bit of an ankle sprains 101 from Rayhan for all of us to grow and learn and figure out what we do with our athletes if that were to occur. Over to you, Rayhan.
Hey everyone, my name is Rayhan Malik and I'm the head athletic therapist for the Raptors 905. Today, I'll be showing you guys what ankle sprains are, how we, with the Raptors 905 medical staff, kind of go over them, and kind of just showing you guys all the ankle sprains 101. So to start, what is an ankle sprain? An ankle sprain is an injury to the ligaments of the ankle. And the most common type of ankle sprain is to the lateral aspect of your foot. And there are 3 grades to an ankle sprain. A grade 1 would be a mild ankle sprain, a grade 2 would be a moderate ankle sprain, and grade 3 would be a severe ankle sprain. So to determine what grade of an ankle sprain you have, it needs to be assessed through imaging or by a trained healthcare provider. And the most important thing is to rule out a fracture and determine which grade you have for the adequate rehab. So the common questions I get is, when should I x-ray? So first question is, can you take 4 steps? And then if the answer is no, suggest that you get an x-ray. Do you have tenderness and pain around the medial and lateral malleoli? So you can see in the picture, it's the 2 little bones on both the inside and the outside of the foot. And if the answer is yes, you x-ray. Do you have tenderness and pain around the base of the fifth? If the answer is yes, you're going to want to x-ray. Do you have tenderness and pain around the navicular bone? And if the answer is yes, you want to x-ray as well. So once you determine what grade of an ankle sprain do you have, what can you do to help yourself? Now the old term was RICE, which is rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Now recent literature has shown that complete rest isn't necessarily a good thing. It's considered bad. The acronym that I like to follow is POLICE. And POLICE stands for protection, optimal loading, ice, compression, and elevation. And the reason I like doing this is because it starts to introduce range of motion early into the rehab. And we're going to show you a couple exercises once I'm done talking in terms of what exercises you would like to do in a non-weight bearing and in a weight bearing setting. And the last question is, should you brace or should you tape? And bracing and taping has its benefits. However, taping has shown to only be beneficial for the first 20 minutes. Bracing has shown to have a better stability effect in the early stages of an individual returning back to play. However, should you use bracing for your entire career? The answer is no, and the answer is to build capacity and endurance and load your ankle so you can build that capacity and also build the muscles around your ankle. All right, guys, so to start, we're going to do basic ankle movement as we talked about with that police acronym. So the first exercise we're going to do is ankle circles. So we're going to make small little circles, and now if you start to feel pain within these circles, you can actually decrease your range, and you want all this to be pain-free. Now you can also go clockwise, counterclockwise, and you generally want to do 3 sets of 10 in each direction. Along with the ankle circles, you can also do alphabets, so you can actually write the alphabet with your foot. So think about A, B, C, D, and onwards again. If you feel pain within these ranges, you can like decrease the range and progress this exercise from the ankle circles into the ankle alphabets. So once you have the range back, you want to incorporate a TheraBand like so, and you can put it around your ankle. You want to make sure it's high up and it doesn't kind of like fold down, and the athlete is going to hold adequate attention and they're going to press their foot down. And again, you want to do 3 sets of 10, and this is referred to as ankle plantar flexion. Once you're able to do this, you can have somebody hold the band in a downward direction, which would be the easiest, and you would point your ankle up, and this would be ankle dorsiflexion. Now, if you don't have anybody, it's very easy to tie this band to a chair, a bench, or a table. And once you're able to do this exercise, you want to do ankle eversion, and the best way to do this on your own is take the band, wrap around your opposite foot, grab a hold of the band, and you're pointing your foot in the outside direction. And this exercise is going to work on your peroneal muscles, which is your everters, which is really important, especially when you invert ankle sprain. Good. And your next exercise is going to be an ankle inversion. And again, you can have somebody hold it, tie it to something, and you're going to be pointing your ankle inwards. Again, all these exercises can be done 3 sets of 10 reps. So once you're able to weight bear, the next exercise you're going to be able to do is you're going to do a single leg balance. So you're going to go on the affected leg, you're going to lift your opposite hip up, your arm's going to be engaged in an athletic stance, and you're holding. Generally, you want to do 3 sets of 30 seconds, and a progression to this exercise would be an unstable surface. So you can put your foot down, you can stand on the pad, and again, follow the same cues. You're driving that foot into the ground, you're scrunching your foot, and you're getting that proprioceptive feedback, and she's doing a great job in terms of holding that athletic stance. Guys, I hope that was helpful. Those are basic exercises that you can start to implement. Again, play around with exercises, and there's no real order in terms of what exercises you need to do, but once you're past this stage, you can start to load, you can start to do reverse lunges, some squats, and you can play around with it. These are just essential exercises to get back to court, especially if you have that grade 1, grade 2 sprain.
Thanks, Rayhan. Really good stuff. I think it's good for all of us to learn all that information. X's and O's are one thing, but how we look after our players is really important. So thank you for that. We're almost done here with this first session, and a reminder that we're going to go to session 2 here shortly. And then in session 2, there's going to be breakout rooms, and you're going to get to go into a smaller group of coaches, and that's really your time to ask some questions. So if any questions have arisen thus far, from the coaches interview to the player interview to any of those videos you just watched, the technical stuff, please save them for that time, and please ask those questions at that time. We'd be happy to try and answer them as best as we can, because again, coaching is about that dialogue of back and forth. So you can start thinking of some of those questions, write them down, and be ready for the second session, which will be coming up shortly. But we do have one last piece now to listen to, and it's something I think that's really important, and I think that it's something that's different, but is needed in this time. We all know Jack Armstrong. If you're not a basketball coach, if you don't, in terms of the voice of the Raptors and what an amazing job he's done as a broadcaster, but we often forget his basketball coaching background. He's part of our brethren, and he's joined us, and he's going to share some basketball knowledge with us. But more importantly, he's going to talk about his life. And I think his life is something that's very interesting for us to think about, given these current times. So I won't spoil it. I wanted to pass it over to Jack to share a little bit about him and his life and his family. Jack, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you.
Hi, I'm Jack Armstrong, and thanks for having me today to the Raptors 905 Clinic. And I'm just going to chat with you for a few minutes, and I've spoken at a lot of coaching clinics in my career, and I'm really honored to be here. If I could say one thing that resonates, I've done my job. If I say more than one thing that resonates, we've witnessed a miracle. So I'll do my best to at least say one. You know, my background prior to broadcasting, this is my 22nd season with the Raptors as a broadcaster. My previous life was as a coach. I spent quite a while in that profession. I coached grade school basketball in Brooklyn, CYO, for 3 years. I was a high school coach. I went back and coached at my high school, Nazareth High School in Brooklyn. I coached there for 2 years. And I was a Division I coach, NCAA Division I coach for 14 years. 4 at Fordham University in the Bronx, and 10 at Niagara University in Lewiston, New York. 9 of those, I was the head coach and assistant athletic director there. So I get it. I've coached at all levels, and I understand it. And quite frankly, it's not an easy business. But each and every one of you can make an amazing impact on a young lady and a young man's life. I can't speak to that enough, how important that is and how powerful that is. To this day, I'm so proud of the young people I've had the opportunity to be in contact with at every level of my basketball journey. And to me, you know, it's not easy. And I always say this when I was a young coach. There's a lot of problems involved. It's a challenge. There are times you feel like a social worker. But I always say this. Life is a series of problems. You're either in one, you just got out of one, or you're about to enter one. In one, just got out of one, or about to enter one. And that's coaching. A lot of times, you have 12, 15 kids on your team. There's always issues. There's always challenges. There's always fires to put out. You're always on red alert. That's not easy. Nonetheless, you have to have standards, high standards. You know, I'm a big believer is high achievement takes place in the area of high expectation. You got to have expectations for those young people. You got to bring the best out of them, and you got to show them that you believe in them and that you're not going to lower your standards, that you believe that they can be better at what they do, not only in between the lines as a player, but more importantly as a person, as a student. Those things really matter. At the same time, when you coach today's athlete, it's all about a partnership. Kids today not only have to respect you, they got to like you. And I think that partnership element really is a big, big thing. We're in the people business. You have to connect with people on a human level in order to inspire them, to show your enthusiasm for what you do. My best teachers, my best coaches that I've worked for, my best bosses are the ones that I've always felt like I connect with them on a human level, that they had my back and I had theirs. And I'd run through a brick wall for them. And I think that, when you walk in that gym or you walk in that locker room, the fact that you're a coach, good, congratulations, you're a coach, big deal. It's the other stuff. It's the passion you bring and your interest in them, your caring for them, your love for them. That really matters. Say another thing. It's all about getting through to them. And, you know, in our society today, unfortunately, we have a lot of issues. And I always say this, rules without relationships equal rebellion. Second part of that, rules with relationships equal respect and results. So yeah, you're going to have rules, but it's the other element of it in terms of getting the respect and the results because you establish a relationship with them. If you don't, you're going to have rebellion. You're going to have problems with kids. And just like we see in our own society today, where people don't connect, they don't listen to each other, they don't respect each other, you got problems. You know, and the other thing is this, you got to be real. You got to be yourself. They got to know that you're authentic. Kids have their BS detector out. They can see through when you're not being real, when you're not authentic. And at the same time, if they know you have their best interests at heart, that you're legit, that you're honest, you're always a straight shooter, you tell them what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear, you're going to get results. Are you going to win every game? Of course not. I'm a perfect example of that. I'm an unemployed coach. Look at my career record. Nonetheless, I'm still happy. I'm doing something I love in the game that I love. But coaching is a special, special thing. And it really makes a difference when you're connected with them and you inspire them. I can sit here and talk X's and O's till I'm blue in the face, practice planning, strategies, all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, the most important thing in coaching is the ability to connect on a human level. You know, we have a lot going on in our society today. It's just really tough. I'm not sure if maybe some of you have and some of you haven't. Lori Ewing wrote a beautiful article in the Globe and Mail a few years ago about my family. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but my wife was a coach as well. She was a Division I women's soccer coach. She was the head soccer coach at Niagara University. She was also the women's basketball assistant. So 2 Division I coaches in this house. But my wife and I adopted 3 African-American boys. And I couldn't love a biological son or a biological daughter any more than I love my 3 sons. They're now 24, 23, 22, and I love them. Are they boys? Are they a pain in the butt sometimes? Do they drive you nuts? Absolutely. But that's the ups and downs and the twists and turns and the thrills and the agony of being a parent. But it's been tough. You know, you reflect on what's going on in our society today. It just ripped your guts out. I mean, I've had the DWB talk with my kids, you know, driving while black. I've had those discussions. I've had the discussions about where our society's at right now. And I think sports is an incredible tool to bring about positive social change. I'm so proud to be involved in the NBA family the last 22 years. I think our league is proactive. I think our league is ahead of the curve in all, based upon looking at all the other leagues. I think we're way ahead of it. And I think as basketball coaches, we have an opportunity and we have an obligation to try to use sport to get people to understand, to build that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that respect, that sacrifice, all those great lessons that sports teach us. That, it's we and us, not I and me. You know, either we all stand together or we all hang separately, right? So we want everyone to get together and respect each other. And when you're in a locker room, there's no such thing as, hey, that's a black guy over there and a white guy over there or a black gal over there. None of that. You're all wearing the same shirt. You're pulling the rope the same way. You're all in it together. And I think as coaches, we have a responsibility to try to, every day in practice, try to give some food for thought to them in terms of how they can be a better person, how they can impact society, how they can really make a difference. Again, I go back to what I said earlier. Rules without relationships equal rebellion. Rules with relationships equal respect and results. It's our job to get them to try to help other people see that light. You know, and I heard a song one time, I think it was the Eagles. They said in the song, Already Gone, sometimes you can see the stars, but you can't see the light. It's our job as coaches to help them see the light, to show them that light, that proverbial light, because they're young, they're narrow-minded in some ways, but in other ways, they're young and they're like sponges, and they take everything in and process it. Be that positive influence in their life that gets them to see the world a certain way and helps them, from their experiences in sports, really make a difference in the world that we live in. Because too often today, and I've said this to my sons constantly, our world is too much about left versus right, or red versus blue, or black versus white, and all that other stuff. You know, and I always say to my kids, life is about moderation and common sense. And unfortunately, the only thing that's common, or excuse me, the only thing that is uncommon is common sense. So we have to try to find a way to get more gray, more empathy and love and respect, and listen to each other and really care about each other. Now, it's nice for me to say all these things. It's hard to accomplish it. But guess what? Each and every one of us in our role as a parent, as a coach, as a teacher, has the opportunity, little by little, to really make a difference in a young lady's life, in a young man's life, so that when they grow up, they're the ones that make a difference. And for me, that's important. I'm just going to tell you one quick story about my youngest son, Tim, and his cousin, Tom, when they were about, I'd say 9, 10 years old. Tim's at the park, and his cousin Tom has blonde hair and blue eyes. And Tom shows up at the park, and he runs over to my son, Tim, and they immediately, what do 9, 10-year-old boys do? They look at each other, hey, how you doing? They high five, and they hug each other. And there's another kid in the schoolyard that says to my nephew, Tom, hey, what are you doing hugging that black kid? And my nephew, Tom, was like startled. So he went home later on, and he said to my sister-in-law, his mom, I was at the park today with Tim, and some kid said to me that I shouldn't hug Tim. Mom, Tim's my cousin. I love Tim. And Mom, that kid said to me that Tim was black. I didn't know Tim was black. What an amazing life lesson. My nephew didn't even know that his cousin was black, because he cared about the soul. He cared about the person. He didn't see color. But that other kid at the park, somebody taught him that, because you don't just figure it out. You might figure it out, but somebody taught you something. So to me, there's so much potential in these young people that we have the opportunity to mold. Now, what did John Wooden say in his poem, The Little Eyes Upon You? Yeah, they're watching and listening to everything you say and do. So be that great example. Be that person that tries to get them pointed on that right path. And most importantly, helps them see the light. So I'm very fortunate in my life that basketball has done so much for me in 2 different careers, as a coach and as a broadcaster. And I picked up that orange ball when I was 7 years old, and I love that ball. And I played ball my whole life. And here I am, 57, and 50 years later, I can't thank that orange ball And that orange ball has created so many opportunities in my life, and I've met so many wonderful people. It's a great sport. So I'd just like to read this to you right now. It's called Anyway. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, you'll be accused of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you're successful, you win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. People favor underdogs, but really follow top dogs. Root for some underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you try to help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best that you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best that you have anyway. Pretty strong stuff. And as a leader, you deal with that and you make an impact. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. And by the way, my man Jama is an incredible coach and, more importantly, a wonderful person. And I'm so proud today to be part of the Raptors 905 Coaches Clinic. And the Raptors 905 have an amazing coach leading them. Thanks again for having me. And Raptors Celtics, go Raps. All the best.
Wow, thank you, Jack. Thank you so much. Some really powerful things there to think about and process for all of us. And we'll actually spend some time unpacking some of it as we start session 2, because I think in today's day and age and with what's happening, especially in this current basketball environment, current world environment, having more discussions around this is important. And your story is a great one to sort of segue us into that. So this will conclude session number 1 in this format, and we'll be moving on shortly here to the second format. You should have received a Zoom link in your registration package or registration information. So we'll be heading onto that Zoom call in about 15 minutes. So take a break, stretch, relax, do what you got to do to get the endorphins flowing again and get yourself re-locked in for another session. But 15-minute break, and then please sign in using that Zoom link. And then we're going to see everybody live. I can't wait to see all the coaches and see everyone's face and actually talk in person. This first session's been great, but the second one is going to be even better, because that's when we really get to dialogue and talk and discuss some things. So look forward to seeing you guys. All the best. Hope you enjoyed this first session, and we'll see you guys soon.